YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek Goodness, my little channel on the web for all things geeky and cool. And this video, guys, is another action figure review. That's right, it's a little late in the action figure reviews. I do apologize. The last one I had was about 90 days ago. A little over 3 months ago was the last action figure review I did. Now, I looked through all the stuff I own for action figures. Instead of going out and buying something, I looked through the stuff I own. I said, you know what? I have something really cool. I think I could do a very good review for it. I said I wouldn't do a review, but this item made my top 10 collectibles of 2018. If you haven't guessed it yet, that's right, it is the Marvel Legends by Hasbro Carnage figure. I thought this would be a really cool full review, full breakdown, full unboxing, full final thoughts video for this figure. Now, a little background on Carnage in case you're not aware of who this character is. Carnage was created back in 1992, it was a long time ago, by David Michelinie, which was a writer, and Mark Bagley, who was the artist, and his first full appearance was Amazing Spider-Man number 361. He did have like one panel, I think, in issue 360, which is first listed full first appearance, but his first full, like, in-comic, in-suit appearance was Amazing Spider-Man number 361, this issue right here. And Carnage's real name, of course, is Cletus Cassidy. He's a serial killer who was in the same cell block as Eddie Brock. When Eddie broke out and the Venom suit got to him again, his suit basically respawned a piece of it. It butted a piece off, and that made the Carnage character. Cletus Cassidy got the suit, broke out, and he is a serial killer. He's absolutely crazy. He's Looney Tunes, he's Noodle Doodle, he's completely a serial killer who's gone off the deep end. And he looks really good. I love how Hasbro took this character from comic book and interpreted it for action figure. It looks so cool. With that being said, we're going to do a full breakdown of this character. We'll look at packaging as a whole. We'll look at paint, articulation, we'll look at the accessories, and conclude in final thoughts for you, the viewer. Should you spend the money and pick up the Marvel Legends series Carnage figure? Stay tuned, guys. We'll go to a breakdown. Alright, guys, we're in our breakdown segment looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Venom series Carnage figure. The very first thing we always do is look at the packaging and presentation in the breakdown segment. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the top here where it says Collect and Connect Monster Venom. This is a bigger, beefier, more massive version of the Venom figure itself. It looks really cool. I like the way it looks, which we'll talk about in a second when I spin it around. We have the nice logo right here of the Venom sort of spider. We have a nice window box display with the figure displayed here and all the accessories. You have Legends listed across the top. You have the Venom logo right there, as well as Carnage here. You have the Hasbro logo. Now, this figure came out, I believe, August, September of 2018. I believe it could be off on the date, with the ramp up to the Venom movie, which debuted in October on Halloween 2018. Now, if we come over here, we have a nice picture of Venom, Carnage on this side, and a nice shot of Carnage on that side. Now, on the back, we have a really cool picture of Carnage with his axe accessory and his sort of spiky hand. Really nice picture here of Cletus Cassidy, and a little write-up at the top here in multiple languages. Looks really cool. If you notice the picture of the Venom figure right there, that's how big it is. It's really massive, really tall figure. And all these figures you need here to build that monster Venom figure, including this one, which is the head accessory for Monster Venom. Now, one thing to take note of, the head that's displaying right here, the Cletus Cassidy head, was originally packaged with the head attached to the body. I decided to swap it out and display the normal Carnage head just because I think it looks a little better, and the head was really difficult to remove. It took a lot of pressure. So I just want to let you guys know that. It's sort of an addendum going into the unboxing of this figure, and let's do that right now. Alright, guys, we have our Carnage figure out of packaging. The first thing we always do is look at the paint and presentation. This is a really cool looking figure. I love the way this character looks. It has that black and red look deco through the entire figure itself. Very thin build here. Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, is not a big bulky figure in the comic books. He's a small, thin man. Not like, let's say, Eddie Brock Venom, who's a massive bodybuilder guy. He's more of a lanky, smaller build. And I love how it transitioned from that idea to this figure. He looks really good. Let's take a look at the head sculpt. This is the interchangeable head of Carnage. Looks perfect. Looks right out of the comics. Looks dead on the money. You may notice these tendrils coming off of the figure. These can't be removed. They are attached to the figure in different positions. They're across his arms. There's some even on the legs. You'll see them right there on that one, and on this leg right here as well. These cannot be, I mean, you can move them a little bit and get them out of the way, but they will bounce back into their positioning. So just so everyone will know that, you can't take these off. You could probably clip these if you wanted to, but I'm going to leave them alone. They are a little bit of a nuisance playing around with the figure because they get kind of in the way. Just want to let you know that going forward. Now let's take a look at the articulation, and then we'll talk about the accessories. Articulation for the head. It can spin 360 with no hindrance, and you have up and down movement. It's a ball joint. Love the way it looks. You have the arms that can go out to a T, but they are a bit tight on these limbs, mainly because of all this stuff that's coming off the figure's arms here. This axe blade accessory, which is part of his hand, which is sculpted in place. So the same sort of idea with this clawed hand on this hand here. The arms can go out to a T, but the joints are a bit tight. The articulation, it does full rotation at the shoulder. There is looks like a double jointed elbow right here. There is spinning at the wrist. No up and down because it just pegs into place. This, of course, is his right hand. He does have this really cool axe blade sculpted from his hand. I'll spin it around so you can see the hand right here. So it's coming off the back of the hand right here to make this cool axe blade. I'm probably not going to display him with this axe blade because it's so heavy it will topple the figure, just so everyone know that. Now, the other arm showcases sports a clawed hand. Same type of articulation, spins around, and the hands are kind of jutting out in these kind of fangy like tendril hands. I like the way it looks. The wrist will bend here and spin compared to this one where there was no bend in this post. This could just spin here. You can't really bend it. Compared to this one, there's articulation in this joint right there, as you can see. So you can rotate the hand and spin it 360. I do like that. One thing that's very cool about this figure, I'll kind of move the hands out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. When we talk about the chest, this chest joint. This is a ratcheted chest joint. You'll hear it. Hear it clicking? And it holds in place. It's not loose. He retains his position. I'll lean him backwards so you can see. He does hold and gets a real decent amount of movement from this ratcheted chest joint. I haven't seen a whole lot of those before. He does spin 360 degrees at the waist with no issues there. He does have the weird cut here, so if you put him out of line of sight when you try to display him, he may look a little weird. So just how most articulation does happen for most figures in this day and age. Let's go down to the legs now. Again, same color throughout the entire sculpt, black and red. You can get about that level of movement here. You can get a double jointed knee, which I'll kind of spin around so you can see it. There's a double jointed knee right there. You can spin the ankle 360. I guess it would be the shin rather, 360 at the shin, and you still have that tendril there. And there is up and down of the ankle, and I think you have 360 of the foot itself. So it does go 360, and there are foot pegs in the feet themselves, so you can put him on a figure stand if you can find one. So I do like that. There is also a cut here in the thigh, so you can spin the thigh 360 as well. You can get him out to a full split. I love this level of articulation. They did a real bang-up job at Hasbro with this amount of articulation. Now, as I said, he becomes very, very top-heavy when you start putting all this other accessories and gear on him. It's very difficult to get him into a decent pose. As you see me kind of fidgeting with it, the feet becomes very, very difficult to try to pose him with this axe blade because it's so heavy. Let me take it off so you can see what it looks like. It will pop, as you can hear. And here's the axe blade up close, if you want to take a look at it. It does have a peg point right there. And there is, like I said, since there's no articulation here, it's just straight sculpt. What you see is what you get. Now let's take a look at some of the other accessories for Carnage here. And I'll put a hand on him so you can see. He does have two different hands. He has another sort of clawed hand, which I like the way it looks. We'll put that on him, which will replace his other clawed hand, which is the other hand. Actually, let's take that one off, and I think it's this one here. Put it in the wrong one. You hear it peg in place, and you see how dynamically the look changes from the axe blade piece here to this clawed hand. And this is probably how I would display him, just like in this pose. But there's a couple other accessories we've got to talk about first. Let's move Carnage right here. Beside the axe blade and the clawed hand, which I was mentioning, so you can remove this clawed hand and put the smaller clawed hand in place. So if you wanted to, you can remove it and trade off with a smaller hand. I wish they would have had another one of these larger, long tendril hands to put it on this side. So I don't know why they only gave us one. It would have been nice if we would have had two, but that's just an unfortunate thing. He does come with a back tendril. This was attached to his back to keep him in the plastic, but it looks really cool. There's no articulation. It's just all rubbery material. There is a peg point on his back, as you see right there. And you simply just plug the tendril piece into his back, so you can get more tendrily action if you wanted to out of Carnage. So I'll kind of get a little closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Or you can, and what's cool about it, you can pose it in different ways. So you can maneuver it, like if you wanted it here, or you wanted it lower, if you wanted it to this side. I do like the level of movement you can put on the tendril to get different sort of poses out of your Carnage figure. I do like that. I think that's a very, very cool idea. Now let's talk about the additional head sculpt, the Cletus Cassidy head, this guy right here. He looks really good. Now kind of put it near his head so you can see kind of what he would look like. The head is very difficult to remove from this body. Originally he came with this head attached on here. I was fighting a lot to get the head to actually peg into place, so I don't want to pop the head out, but I do want to focus again on this head because I think it looks really, really good. It looks just like Cletus Cassidy. The only thing I would really change here on this one, I wish the hair was a little bit redder, because he's much more ginger colored hair, more red, much more red than what you see on camera here. It looks almost a level of red of the Carnage figure that you see here. That's how bright red it is. It's this color red hair that he has in the comics. So I wish it was much brighter red. Maybe the people who do additional sculpt work or additional paint work, if they're creative enough, can do a different red for the hair. For customizers, that's what I'm looking for. If customizers wanted to mess around with it, they could probably make it even redder. Then last but not least, he comes with the Venom Collect and Connect for the Monster Venom figure. It looks really cool. You probably could just pop this head on if you wanted to, but it would look really funny if you put this head on Carnage. I mean, I'm just saying it looks really, really weird, but you could, because it has a ball joint which would be universal to this joint here. But we got a decent amount of accessories here. We have the axe blade accessory, you have two interchangeable, well technically three interchangeable hands, the additional Collect and Connect head, the additional head for Cletus Cassidy, and the Carnage figure with the tendrils in the back here. They gave us a lot of stuff on this figure. I highly recommend this figure. This is a really cool Marvel Legends figure. And with that being said, let's go to final thoughts and wrap up this video. Alright guys, final thoughts on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Carnage figure from the Venom wave. Again, this figure came out, I believe, August, September, near the big hype for the Venom movie that debuted. And this is a really cool figure. I didn't think it was this cool when I was messing around with it earlier before the shooting of this video. I love the ratcheting chest joint. I didn't know this figure had that sort of level of articulation, very strong joints. It was difficult to pop the head on and off. That's why I'm displaying the Carnage head in the packaging as you see here. Normally it comes displayed with the Cletus Cassidy head, which of course was this guy right there. But I think it looks so much cooler with the Carnage head, that weird sinister grin that we saw, which was of course inherited from Venom into the Carnage toy itself. But I highly recommend the Carnage figure from Hasbro. They did a dynamite job with this figure. If you can pick him up, I highly recommend it. Now you do need Carnage to complete the Venom build, the Collect and Connect figure, which of course the Venom head right there. But I think this is a really cool Collect and Connect. I get the entire wave, not me personally. I just wanted the Carnage figure because I really like Carnage. I think Hasbro did a really great job on this figure. So that being said, I hope you liked this video review of Marvel Legends Carnage. Remember to click that like button. Always click subscribe with a picture of my face. When you subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to be notified of my latest videos. And of course, last but not least, you can click Windows over here to watch more of my content. Take care, guys. I'll see you next video. And bye-bye.